Hello students, this is Usha Sharma. In this video, we will continue chapter 13 Mahatma Gandhi and the National Movement. In the previous video, we have a brief discussion about Mahatma Gandhi, development of Indian National Congress, first appearance of Mahatma Gandhi in BHU and their Satyagraha. Now we will start the chapter which describe the events of 1919 to 1930. Students, do you know about the First World War? It was fought in 1914 to 1918 in Europe. During Indian press was censored by the British and passed Rowlatt Act in March 1919. This act authorized the government to imprison without trial any person suspected of terrorism. Gandhiji called for a countrywide campaign against the Rowlatt Act. On April 6th, a hartal was declared by Gandhiji. The protest against the Rowlatt Act grew progressively intense, reaching a climax in Amritsar in April 1919. When a British Brigadier General Dyer ordered his troops to open fire on a nationalist meeting. More than 400 people were killed in the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. It was Rowlatt Act that made Gandhiji a truly national leader. It encouraged by its success, Gandhiji called for a campaign of non-cooperation against British rule. Non-cooperation movement started by Gandhiji. This movement was a training for self-rule. He was asked not to cooperate with the British government in any way. Why Gandhiji started this movement? Condition of India at the time of First World War, laws introduced by the British like as Rowlatt Act and Martial Law, censorship of the Indian press. Gandhiji detained while proceeding to Punjab, Jallianwala Bagh massacre, success of Rowlatt Satyagraha and Gandhiji's call for non-cooperation movement. Gandhiji decided to couple the Khilafat issue with the non-cooperation. The Khilafat movement was initiated by Muslim brothers to restore the Caliphate. He wanted to bring Hindus and Muslims collectively to end colonial rule. During non-cooperation movement, students stopped going to school and colleges run by the British government. Lawyers refused to attend the law court. The working class went on strike in many towns and cities. Hill tribes in northern Andhra violated the forest law. Farmers in Awadh refused to pay taxes. These protest movements were sometimes carried out in defiance of the local nationalist leadership. Gandhiji taught the people self-discipline, renunciation, self-denial, ahimsa, satyagraha through non-cooperation movement. The aim of the movement was self-rule. The movement shook the foundation of the British rule in India. Many Indians, including Gandhiji, were put in jail. In February 1922, a group of peasants attacked and fired a police station at Chori Chora in UP. Several policemen were killed. This act of violence prompted Gandhiji to call off the movement. Gandhiji as people's leader. Gandhiji had transformed the nationalist movement into a mass movement that was more properly representative of the Indian masses. In his speech at the opening of the BHU, he reminded people that the peasants and workers were a majority of the Indian population who remained unrepresented in the national movement. It was Gandhiji's desire to make Indian nationalism representative of the Indian people. The people appreciated the fact that he dressed like them, lived like them, and spoke their language. He identified himself with common man. This was strikingly reflected in his dress, while other nationalist leaders dressed formally, wearing a western suit or an Indian bandgala. Gandhiji went among the people in a simple dhoti or loin cloth. Meanwhile, he spent part of each day working on the charkha and encouraged the other nationalists to do likewise. The act of spinning allowed Gandhiji to break the boundaries that prevailed within the traditional caste system between mental and manual labor. Gandhiji's appeal among poor and peasants in particular was enhanced by his ascetic lifestyle. His shared use of symbols such as the dhoti and the charkha. Gandhi appeared not just to look like them, but also to understand them and related to their lives and work for them and the nation together. Along with Gandhiji's fame, many rumors related to him were also spreading in the country. In some places, it was said that he had been sent by the king to redress the grievance of the farmers and that he had the power to overrule all local officials. Gandhiji's appeal among the poor and peasants in particular was enhanced by his ascetic lifestyle. It was also claimed that Gandhiji's power was superior to that of the English monarch, and with his arrival, colonial rulers would flee the district. Stories spread of dire consequences for those who opposed him. Those who criticized Gandhi found their houses mysteriously falling apart or their crops failing. Gandhiji appeared to the Indian peasant as a savior who could rescue them from high taxes and oppressive officials and restore dignity and autonomy to their lives. Gandhiji was as much a social reformer as he was a politician. He took steps to remove social evils such as child marriage and untouchability. He gave emphasis on Hindu-Muslim harmony. Meanwhile, on the economic front, Indians had to learn to become self-reliant. Hence he stressed on the significance of wearing khadi rather than mill-made cloth imported from overseas. The Salt Satyagraha, a case study background, major political events from 1928 to 1930. In 1927, the Simon Commission was appointed to inquire into conditions in the colony. In 1928, there was an all India campaign in opposition to the all-white commissions sent to India. Gandhiji did not himself participate in this movement since he was engaged in a peasant satyagraha in Bardoli. In the end of December 1929, the Congress held its annual session in the city of Lahore. The meeting was significant for two reasons: the election of Jawaharlal Nehru as president, signifying the passing of the leadership of Congress to younger generation, and the proclamation of commitment to Purna Swaraj or complete independence on 26 January 1930. Independence Day was observed with the national flag being hoisted at different venues. Soon after the observance of this Independence Day, the state monopoly over salt, which was deeply unpopular, was made a target. Gandhiji hoped to mobilize a wider level of discontent against British rule. Salt was an indispensable item in every Indian house. People were forbidden from making salt even for domestic use. British compelled them buy salt from shops at a higher price. Gandhiji had given advance notice of his salt march to the Viceroy Lord Irwin, who failed to grasp the significance of the action. On 12 March 1930, Gandhiji began his march from his Sabarmati ashram towards ocean. He reached Dandi 3 weeks later and made a handful of salt and thereby breaking the law. Salt march and protests were also conducted in other parts of the country. Peasants breached the hated colonial forest law that kept them and they then came out of the woods in which they had once roamed freely. In some towns, factory workers went on strike while lawyers boycotted British court and students refused to attend government-run educational institutions. As in 1920-22, now too Gandhiji's call had encouraged Indians to all classes to manifest their own discontent with colonial rule. During the march, Gandhiji told the upper class caste that if they want Swaraj, they must serve untouchables. Hindu, Muslim, Parsis and Sikhs have to unite and these are steps towards Swaraj. The police Sipahis reported that all men and women and all castes attended the meetings of Gandhiji. They observed that thousands of volunteers were flocking to the national cause. The Salt March of Gandhiji was reported in the American news magazine Time. In its reports on the march, the magazine was deeply spectacle of the Salt March reaching its destination. But shortly it changed its view and saluted Gandhiji as a saint and statesman. The rulers responded by detaining the dissenters in the wake of the Salt March in 1930. Nearly 60,000 Indians were arrested, among them, of course, Gandhiji himself. Significance of the Salt March. The Salt March was notable for at least three reasons. Firstly, this event brought Mahatma Gandhi to world attention. The march was widely covered by the European and American press. Secondly, it was the first nationalist activity in which women participated in large numbers. The socialist activist Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay had pursued Gandhiji not to restrict the protest to men alone. Thirdly, it made the British realize that their rule was not to last forever and they would have to share some power with the Indians. To discuss the same, the British tried to hold round table conference in London to get to some kind resolution. Thank you, class.